We're here with John Lutes. John, here at DKM Open House. What are you doing here? What are you checking out? Just hanging out with friends, or what are you doing here today?
Yeah, these are my buddies. We've known each other. All of us have been friends for a long time. In the wintertime, I come up here. Even in the summertime, I work for them once in a while. They'll get a project in where they need a car ripped apart and reassembled as a DKM race car. And they invite me up to help knock the cost of my bill down a little bit. So I'm very happy that they put trust in the work that I do on race cars. I mean, I've been around a while, so I love hanging out with these guys. It's just a great atmosphere. They build a good product, and I'm happy to be just a little part of it.
Mm-hmm. So obviously 2021 just closed up for the season. How did 2021 go for you?
Oh, God, you were there at Albany, Saratoga, and watched me kind of fall like a brick most nights. Locked down, hammer down, big block track, and even though I have a motor that's won a championship there twice, I had a hard time even qualifying most nights. And the feature, I could pass 4, 5, 6 cars, and that was kind of the end of it. I'm not funded enough to race there, which breaks my heart because it's been one of my home tracks in the past. I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to have to go back to quarter-mile bull rings, which are a little more in my wheelhouse, like all the little tracks that I've been on at the end of the season here. We had some pretty good performances with a few mechanical breakdowns, but we're going to get them figured out for 2022, and we're going to hope for a much better season next year.
So obviously you went down to Louisiana. I got to do the Cajun Swing with Short Track Super Series. You were very consistent. I mean, I watched every night. You always seemed like you were in the top 10, always creeping in there. Getting there, go down there. First of all, what was that experience like?
Tiresome. I drove down there all by myself, 26 and a half hours to get there. The guy that was going to go with me kind of backed out hours before I left. And I was committed. I knew all season long, even though I had a tough time over to Albany, I kept focused, and Stuart Friesen was actually the one that suggested that I bring a car. I went and helped Derek McGrew Jr. The 2020, and he ran well down there. And Stu knows that I'm a bull ringer, and says, Johnny Lutes, better bring a car with you. So I see him in Orange County on his little pit bike, and he came over and says, 20,000 reasons why. And I was like, I'm bringing a car, buddy. So Stu was happy. He actually came over, gave me some help and some advice while we were down there. Jack Lehner helped me. Little Derek McGrew Jr. helped me set my toe a couple times. But I went by myself. It was quite the experience. I slept in a truck all 5 nights. Well, that cut out the cost of the hotel rooms, and I knew when I got home that I had bills to pay. So I toughed it out. Willie Decker helped me a lot while we were down there. He washed my car for me. I appreciate that, Willie. And I helped Eric Williams a little bit. People down there were just amazed that I was down there by myself, and I was still finding time to help Willie Decker fix a brake line in his motorhome, and get Eric Williams get brakes in his car, and and still managed to get my car competitive enough that we could run up in the top 10. And I feel we were good enough to run in the top 5, and I thought I was putting myself in a good enough position, and my car kept getting broken. The first night at Boot Hill, Matt Shepard broke an axle a couple cars ahead of me, and I had nowhere to go, and I got in the guy in front of me, and I got a right front flat, and I pulled off the track, and the loneliest feeling in the world is to drive over to the pit area and have nobody at all to change your tire for you. So I got to the car, I changed it myself, but they had already thrown the green flag, and I knew I'd be a number of laps down by the time I got all the way back around and got on the track. So I just decided to take my helmet off and call it an evening and get ready for the next night.
Mm-hmm. So obviously now we're looking at 2022. What's the home track? Where are you going to be, and what's your overall goal for this season?
I'm leaning towards having my motor sent out to Dan Bedell and have him turn it into a short track Super Series motor, and probably racing Accord Speedway on Friday nights. I'm not sure about Saturdays. I drive my father's car at Lebanon Valley with the 358s. but I would rather maybe find something like Thunder Mountain-ish, something more in my wheelhouse, you know. The Valley's tough. I mean, there's a lot of big wallets there. You know, they like to play outside the gray area, and I don't know. I love the speeds. This was my home track originally, and that's where I grew up, and I just don't. I don't know. I would rather do a bull ring somewhere on a Saturday night, or maybe get a ride for Fonda Speedway and race with Brett Deo. He seems to be the only one that understands the payout and how important it is to the little guy to, you know, back through the field. You finish in 13th, and you know you still get enough money to come back the next week. Some of these tracks we race at, we're racing for the same payout that my father raced for back in the 80s. You know, I mean, they're parked out to the road, and the payout's the same. I have a hard time. And the cars cost 4 times what they were back in the 80s. So it's a tough financial struggle to be a little team and be competitive. But I don't know. I've always been that guy that shows up with holes in my shoes and some nights whacks the field, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, best of luck to you. John Lutes getting ready to go here in 2022 here at DKM Open House.
Thank you, Beardy.